What is going down, everybody? It's your boy Chris from Alien OG Podcast, man. How is everybody's Tuesday? I am so excited for this podcast. I am just waiting for my special guest to join the live. I was having so many technical difficulties coming on here. I don't know what's going on. The internet's all over the place. It's crazy. So I'm waiting for Chrissy Newton to come on to the live here. And literally, as soon as she gets on here, man, this is going to be a good show. I can feel it. So hopefully, everything goes well. So I'm trying to get Chrissy to join us now. Hopefully, everything goes well. And hopefully, everything goes good. So I'm just waiting for her to pop into the live. And as soon as she joins the live, I can have her come on with me, man. I'm like, dude, I've been waiting for this. I'm so stoked. It's it's an amazing feeling to have Chrissy on the show. Give me 1 second. I'm still trying to get her on. Hopefully, I can get her on here. Man, I don't know why I keep freezing, guys. This is crazy. I don't have no idea. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm like having trouble on my end again. I'm just wondering if you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me, just give me a little thumbs up. Man, this is crazy. This is crazy. All right, cool. We get what's going on, guys. What's going on? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get Chrissy to join somehow, some way. It's going pretty bad. This is crazy, man. I'm like trying so hard to get her to come on here. It's getting really, really hard to get her in here. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. Chrissy is in here, guys. Thankfully, she's in here. I'm gonna send her the invite now. Hopefully, this connects. Hopefully, this connects. I'm trying. Let me go ahead and send her the invite. Here we go. Boom. Hey, Chrissy, I just sent you the invite to get on the podcast with me on the live. If you could just accept it, hopefully we can connect really quick. Somehow, some way. She's unable to join. No, what's going on? What is going on? Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Hopefully we get it up and going. Something's going on here. Sending her the invite. It didn't send it to me. Give me 1 second. I sent the invite now again, so hopefully it connects. Let's see if it does. Or can you request on your end to join and I can accept it from my end because some reason is not letting me send you the request even though I'm sending it, which is crazy. So crazy. There we go. Accept. There we go. Will we have magic? Let me see. Yeah, I saw the request. I went and hit accept. Wow, this is crazy. I cannot believe that this is happening right now. This is crazy. We're having. It says Chrissy Newton is unable to join. I have no idea what is going on. I saw the request on my end. Can we do that one more time? Hopefully we can connect. Man, this is crazy. I cannot believe every time I have a live with somebody, there's always some kind of interference, and this is crazy. This has become like a thing. This has become like a phenomenon on my end as well. Like every time I have a guest on here, we have so much technical difficulties. The last time my phone completely shut off. Like it literally, there we go.
Did we
Chrissy.
did we do
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, dude, every time I have someone come on here, it literally spazzes out, and I have no idea why. You have no idea how much crazy things go on when I go live with somebody. It's insane. But
I've
I
had
am,
I've had a crazy day on my end too with
oh
technology.
my God, I
I
can only I can
no
only imagine.
Also, I was the idiot. I thought that I forgot that I haven't done a live in so long, so I forgot that you have to like jump into the live for them to send you the request. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. I'm still learning the process as well. So I'm up and learning with everyone here. So you and me are both learning together. This is a learning experience.
That sounds good. How are you?
Good, good. How about yourself? I am so thrilled and honored that you are here. I've been waiting. I've been so stoked. I literally got goosebumps right now. I
That's
cannot believe.
Oh my gosh, you don't. That's really sweet of you. I'm like,
No,
today I've been watching the MK Ultra hearing and like clipping stuff and like gonna start writing about it, and it's been wild. So this morning's been wild. Plus, I was like,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
I saw that that
that
whole
was
MK Ultra thing, man. It's been really crazy. I've been seeing you cover that, and can you give us like a little bit of rundown on that?
Oh gosh, there's so many. MK Ultra wasn't the only program. Really, it was to look to brainwashing and mind control. And so it was a program that was done, gosh, like this has been going on from like the 60s, 70s, and potentially the 80s or 80s, and potentially now still going on. And so there was multiple programs like Project Climax, Project Artichoke, MK Ultra that were looking at how to be able to use mind control or how to have mind control or brainwashing. And that was done by the use of LSD and torture techniques as well and different types
Mm.
of drugs. So really that's the short of it. But they have the hearings today, which has been wild to watch. That this is people have been talking about MK Ultra for years, and I should say this was done against civilians, not by their own accord, right? They didn't agree to these things, and it happened both in Canada and the United States. So we're seeing that these hearings are happening now in the states finally, and the victims hopefully will get reparations to some degree. But these are multiple tactics that we've seen that started from probably eugenics earlier, but we know that happened in Project Paperclip with Nazi scientists that came over to America. And then we also saw that later on, we potentially could be still having these techniques. We know that they've been used in Guantanamo Bay against what they would say so-called terrorists that have actually been innocent victims that are in Camp 7 or was Camp 7 in Guantanamo Bay. So I know it's really sad, and I've been connecting to some people that have been on Guantanamo Bay, and we'll start writing about that more as well because there's people that have been tortured using MK Ultra tactics that are still in Guantanamo Bay to this day, and they'll never get out because
Now,
even
now I have a huge question about that MK Ultra. With that art, to me, I believe did it start with the soldiers themselves? Like, were they subject to like a testing, and then it moved on to like possibly just grabbing random people from the street and just like taking them hostage in their minds?
yeah, there was people that they were saying that were working. What are they? I think there was a movie called this. I never actually watched it, where they were brainwashing people that were working like. But also, yeah, Project Artichoke, and then there was Project Midnight Climax was taking Johns and having them drugged in brothels, and then were tested on. But what we're seeing that there was no science done there, and I'm actually going to post this clip after that there was no science that was actually done in these brothels. It was agents and other people that were literally watching these men have sex and while they were drugged. Yeah, nothing, no science.
Wow.
I know. And these were innocent, like if you're going to a brothel, you're probably going to a brothel and it's legalized. So they were exploiting Johns in many different ways and drugging them against their own will. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
And
That
you watch
that is
on
that's
today.
insane. Yeah, that is completely insane. I mean, imagine like not knowingly being drugged, and this is pretty much what I'm getting from this. It's pretty much like a command post where the CIA was pretty much taking over these brothels and like watching things go down here.
Yeah, I don't know how many brothels in total they had, but there was multiple victims for sure. And so that there was no science that was even done on it. They were doing it of their own pleasure and accord because the agents wanted this. It's pretty
What?
wild.
Yeah,
I,
and I mean, what do they get out of this? I mean, my question is, what do they get out of it? By what are they trying to study, or what is it that they're? I mean, is it just for pleasure for them, or?
Climate we're saying Operation Climate Midnight Climax is probably had no science related to it at all. But MK Ultra and some of the other adjacent programs, and there was like 169 programs too that we don't really know much about. But MK Ultra, as much documentation that we have, these were people that were put into institutions. There was one that was attached to McGill. That Cameron Ewan was a psychologist that was torturing women and men and some, I believe, children and adolescents, but it was more men and women. Husbands would drop their wives off if they thought that they were acting erratic, and then they were subjected to torture. Yeah, things where you would put recordings under your pillow and it would say, on loop over 10,000 times, like your mother hates you, after they were given electric shock 4 times the amount than the original amount. I know
Oh, wow. That's
it's
mind blowing.
yes, and you're like, how is this even possible that happened? And second of all, what is still going on today? And that's what people believe, and Congress was saying, and multiple people were asking this question. And I know other people that have said to me, I don't think that's possible. And I said, no, is possible, because we saw that all the way from eugenics from the 1920s and 30s, it was still happening. So is it going to stop now? Right?
I don't. I think to today, to be quite honest with you, I think that those programs are still active as of today. I don't
Yeah.
think that's ever a thing that's gonna stop per se. But to be genuinely honest, I think it really is something that keeps going on today. Do you think that that's still going on today as of now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly the same techniques. They probably obviously have advanced in many ways, but the question is who are they targeting?
Mm.
Um, and what is the new program? What does it consist of? And has it gone to a larger operation where it's masses, not so much individuals? I wonder that now, because all of that
Mm.
is psychological operations, right? And so,
Right.
have we learned so much about how to be able to control the mind and the brain, by doing these types of tortures where we can erase someone's brain and then put in new false memories, right?
Right. That's insane. I mean, imagine guys just being you have one way of thinking, and then all of a sudden something gets implanted in you, and you have other thoughts going into your mind, like, and you don't know why these. A lot of people that I have a guy that is in a retirement home next to where I live, and funny enough that you bring this MK Ultra stuff up, he did tell me that that's a very real project. He's a retired U.S. Navy, also Vietnam vet.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and he just finished telling me, like, dude, we to this day mind control's still going on, and I'm like, wait, what? And and it happened so much that this guy stopped me one day and was like, hey, can I talk to you really quick? So we started talking, right? And then he told me a bunch of things, and oddly enough, this came up, and he says this is very much a tactic that we have practiced here in the CIA and stuff like that. So he's very well in the know of these covert projects that go on. So he's very well still in deep with these guys.
Oh, I imagine it's something, we're probably doing a lot of these techniques, maybe not so much on, citizens. We shouldn't be doing them on citizens.
Mm-hmm.
It's against the law.
Mm-hmm.
Target your citizens innocently, and just in general. But
Mm-hmm.
they're probably doing it a lot more on foreign adversaries. And so,
Yes.
the CIA has a kill list that they're, always looking for people. They're capturing people. Like this is a consistent thing, every day for them, right? If you're working within the
Right.
CIA or you're working in counterintelligence. So that's probably happening within counterintelligence. Um, Again, do we know if it's happening to civilians, then to
Ooh,
what
that's
degree, and if it's a psychological operation, then we will one day find out, but we'll be pretty old when it happens.
yeah. For that, when that happens, I do agree on that.
Yeah.
Now, changing a little bit of gears with that, Chrissy, what can you tell us about all the UFO phenomenon going on right now, especially in the news? I know you covered a news nation with that. Can you tell us a little bit more on what is to come? Possibly more like whistleblowers coming up and more proof coming out.
I think we're always going to have consistent whistleblowers coming out, right? The question is like the credibility of the whistleblower. And it doesn't mean that they're lying or, they could be. Like, it doesn't mean that someone might not be at some point. But there are questions about, information that they're getting. So at any time, we get firsthand, secondhand, thirdhand information. The things that I want to be able to really talk to when I talk to some whistleblowers is about, where did they see the information? Where did they get it from? Along with them, yeah, like, have they seen it with their own eyes? Have they seen it in a video? That's a big aspect of it, right? Because
Hmm.
a lot of people within this space, there's circle reporting consistently, right? And it's something that
Hmm.
we try to get away from, even though everyone gets stuck in it to some degree. But it's kind of like this guy told me and this guy, and it's always the same key players. So it's hoping that new players come into the space that are extremely credible, and we start getting more evidence based, where it looks at like meetings or conversations, or if there is this legacy program that people say exists or not. We need to see those other programs that will hopefully start coming out. So that's where
Right.
we're at now. If people want to know more about NHI, we're past file dumps now. It doesn't mean that they're not
Hmm.
important to the police, but we're past file dumps.
Exactly.
We want, yeah, there's the experience or conversation, I think, is stepped in now. Yeah.
Do you believe that David Grush will come out and show us more evidence of all these things that he's been talking about in the news? I hope so, maybe. What are
I,
your thoughts on that?
I hope he does. He's probably worried for his life to some degree. Um, or he's just worried about going to jail. That's a big aspect of it. So I know that Anna Polina Luna, that within the task force now, is trying to put forward in these like sundown clause or clause that people will be able to go and testify, and they'll have a certain amount of time where they'll have like some form of immunity so they won't go to jail. And that's a big aspect of it, right? I think for him,
Right.
he's waiting for legislation to catch up, and then I would imagine he would start coming forward with more information, depending if he feels safe to do it. So
Hmm.
how much more does David Grush know, too?
I I do agree with that 100%. Do you believe full disclosure is coming and will be given to the public? Do you believe, like, look, I'm saying in the Disclosure movie, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have, yeah.
Oh my God, what a great, it was a great movie. I literally, at the end, I literally was like, oh my, like almost in tears, right? I was like, dang,
I
that was crazy.
like it. I thought it was so bad.
You didn't like it? I thought it, I mean, there's bits and pieces that supposedly George Lucas added that was actual footage of some type of real UFO craft in the movie. And I was like, man, okay, he incorporated some of that, but I don't know which is real and which is fake.
Well, I don't know. I thought that it wasn't up to Spielberg's ability, to be honest. And someone, I think, for all of us, everyone will look at Disclosure differently. I
Hmm.
just felt that it wasn't bad. It just wasn't his best work. And
Right.
I don't, yeah, there's so many other things from the cinematography. I felt that was kind of lacking to some degree. I thought there was too many plot lines that weren't really filled out enough.
Hmm.
But
It was all over the place.
back to your original question, though, too, outside of cutting up Spielberg, because I'm also not
You're
like,
okay.
I can't really cut the man up too much.
Yeah.
He is brilliant, but I would say, are we gonna have disclosure? I hope in my lifetime we have disclosure. Like, I hope that I get to see this paradigm shift where we're all, looking and understanding science and society differently. And I really hope that I get to see that. I don't know when it's going to be. I imagine, and I talk about this a fair amount. In most recent is when we hit the singularity. Then I think we'll have those conversations, and disclosure might come, even though we're kind of living through disclosure now. But I think that we might have more information when we hit that singularity, and then that paradigm shift will happen. But I think it's not. I don't know. People say it's going to happen in 15 years. The singularity. I don't know, but I am excited for it, and it's an unbelievable time to be alive. That's for sure.
Of course. Of course. I really do hope so that in our lifetime we get to see it. Like, I mean, towards the end of that movie where, you have the revelation of the alien coming out and I really hope we have some type of disclosure like that. I mean, we're so close with all these archives coming out, right, on the war.gov defense website, and you can see all the files there. So I really do hope we do have a grand discovery where we do bring this to the American people, and everybody should know what other life forms are out there. I mean, I for one, and I know you yourself, you believe in other life forms on this planet.
Yeah, I think that there are. Obviously, we're not just humans. There's more, way more on the planet than just us. And so, yeah, do they walk among us? I don't know. It's not that I know that there's something interdimensional, and I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that is around us. Like, do they walk
Mm-hmm.
full bodies? I don't know. Like, meat suits, how we have, some form of meat suit. I don't know that. But what I do think I do believe, and um, feel is very true is I believe experiencers, and I also do believe that there's something happening interdimensionally. And that can mean many different things and many different phenomena, but there is something happening. And we're not alone in that case. And for sure, UFOs are real in context of we don't know what they are, right? We can't identify them. So there's something happening there. Yeah.
Right. That's great explanation of that. That was really great. I do have, like I said, I was speaking to the older retired gentleman that is a Vietnam War veteran. He does have some renderings of the Dulce, New Mexico base that
Oh, wow.
he's been to himself, and he described all the chambers that there is inside, and is actually he's scared to actually show this to the public, but has given me permission to one day show these all the blueprints to the Dulce, New Mexico base that everybody's been so crazy about and saying that there is no underground base there. So he has proof of all that. Like I said, he has actual renderings and some legitimate photos that hopefully one day I can present to you.
I would love to see those.
Yes,
I would love to take a look at that. Yeah, and for sure, I think so many of us would. So yes,
he literally like
what the
blew my
out?
mind. He blew my mind. Yeah, because he described also inside there that there was a laboratory, and he said that he drew up the renders because he was the artist that originally drew all the sketches of what is going on inside the base. So he's drawing like cloned types of weird animals, all kinds of hybridization programs with aliens. He does describe that there is extraterrestrials working with people down at this base, and he has renderings, actual renderings and dates of the renderings that he did. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm like that'd be great.
I got to see that.
Yeah, so that blew my mind, right? I was like, okay, I'll present that to her. But um, have you ever personally witnessed any UFO activity yourself?
Yeah, I've seen something anomalous. I don't like, we would call it a UFO, but it also could have been anything else. It could have been a weather phenomenon, like it could have been anything to that degree. But I was with an ex boyfriend of mine, and we were in the backyard, and I always laugh because they're called backyard UFOs. And
Mm.
where I looked up and I was like, what is that? And it looked like a day comet. And I was like, does that even make sense? And because I'm like, it doesn't. And so it had like a smoke trail on the back of it, but it was going like really, really slow. And then, not even, no joke, a black jet flew over his house towards it and over us. Yeah. And we were like, and we were staring at it and he was going towards it. And then it disappeared. And then after the black jet flew back over his house, and he just started screaming and dancing in the backyard. Um, he was like, "That's a military plane," and I said, "Yeah, it is." So whatever it was looking at was some weather phenomenon. It was anomalous, but it was really, really weird looking. But I remember seeing it and I spotting it. I was like, outside drinking a Corona in the
Mm-hmm.
backyard. But
Is
yeah,
your
things like that degree, and just I think we've all probably had some type of anomalous behavior around us that we're never able to describe. Majority of people probably have, they just kind of brush it off. I think you and I and people that love this topic are a little bit more conscious to step back, take a moment, and consider that maybe it's something else than just than some nothing. Right?
It's crazy that when you present people your stories, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're crazy, you just saw something, or maybe you were sick, maybe you had one too many beers that day, and you're like, no, man, I could swear, I've had a lot of experiences myself where, I mean, my experiences started at a very young age, and I have not stopped seeing these experiences ever since. I've had a life after death experience two
Oh, wow.
times. Um, you know, uh, um, I've had a lot of things happen that there's too much to actually put on this show. That hopefully, with your permission, one day you come back on the show and I will
Yeah.
gladly explain to you everything that I've been through, because it's a lot. And just to tell you that there is there is two dimensions in this world. I mean, we do live in a three-dimensional world, right? But there is a different dimension where, I mean, heaven and hell are kind of real. And this is just to what I saw as I was dead. So it's pretty crazy that
What
interdimensional travel does exist. What was that?
what did you see when you had your near death experience, if you mind me asking?
Yeah, of course. Probably when I was, what I'd say, maybe 20 years old. I had a near death experience where I was stabbed right outside of my apartment complex. And
Oh,
they got me right under they got me right under the heart. So I was fine, everything was cool. I got to the hospital, I bled out, and I was literally on the gurney, and I'm watching my just blood come out of my chest, and I looked at the nurse, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna die. So I completely I guess they said I went into shock, and from there they had already clinically pronounced me dead to my family. But in that journey, I literally went to hell first. And when I describe hell to everybody, everybody thinks it's a fiery thing, right? There's hell, there's lava, there's this. No, this place is complete dark. There's no section whatsoever. You don't know if you're up, down, right, left. You don't know if you're floating, where you're at. Um, so when it was dark, all I could literally see was darkness, and from afar I can hear very loud grunts, like monster grunts, and I didn't know where they were coming from. All I know is that it came from in front of me, and I could feel the breath, and it's like this. I can't even explain the smell, because a lot of it's like sulfur. Ah, man, it just smells disgusting, very disgusting. So I felt this hot breath on my face first. A loud roar, and then another roar to my left, and then another roar to my right. And as soon as that happened, I saw literally my casket. I was at my own funeral.
oh
I
my,
was dressed. Yeah, I was on my own funeral. I couldn't see the guy standing behind me. All I can hear is his voice saying, "You have a choice. Look around you." And I looked around the room. I saw all my family members literally mourning, right, as I'm laying in this casket. Um, and he goes, "Oh, this is very much real. You have passed on. You are now in my grasp. So you have a choice." And I said, "What's the choice?" I didn't know who I was talking to. And I can only assume at that point it was the devil himself. Said, "Well, you have two choices. You either give me your soul, and I can make this all go away, or you're gonna spend the rest of eternity here in darkness." And I'm like, "What?"
it
I
was so
didn't know what to do.
oh.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yep.
what the hell's going on, right? I'm like, what? I'm like, I can't do that. And he's like, look around the room again. Just look around. Everybody mourning you. You really want that? Man, I broke down, right? I was literally on my knees, and I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
So the lights go out. I no longer see my casket or myself. Everything goes back to pitch dark black, literally. And then all of a sudden, a loud roar this person let out, and the ground started shaking. And out of nowhere, boom, a light turns on from above me, and I get pulled up into this tunnel. it felt like a free fall, but up. So I'm like, what the heck is this now? So now I'm in this peaceful, cloudy environment that I literally can like touch. I was like, wow, where am I? So right here, it was peaceful. It was all white. It was very cloudy. It was nice and fresh. And out of the distance, I'm looking around, and out of the distance, I hear my grandfather's voice. My grandfather's like, "Hey," and I turn around, and he goes, "What are you doing here?" And I go, "I'm assuming I'm dead." And he goes, "It's not your time." So he grabs me by the forehead and literally brings me down towards the clouds, and I resuscitated on Easter Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild near death
yeah,
experience.
yeah. That,
That's
and
wild.
when I woke up, yeah,
Pride.
it was
And I'm also glad you're
really,
first of all.
no. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. And
I'm the person that
that,
stabbed you because that's insane.
yeah. And I was literally just minding my own business outside of my apartment building, and literally I was being mugged, pretty much for $20 that I had in my pocket, and I had nothing else.
That's
And I
crazy.
was like, what? Yeah. So when I resuscitated, I literally woke up in the gurney, but I was strapped, right? Because they didn't know. But they had literally poured in, I don't know how many liters of blood. They worked on me for the whole Saturday evening, night to the morning of Sunday. Like I said, they had already clinically pronounced me dead. And all I can do when I woke up was my grandma was the first thing that was sitting right bedside from me. And I just literally looked at her and I said, my grandpa brought me back. And I'm crying, and she starts crying. And then
Oh,
she literally, I kid you not, Chrissy, she goes, yes, I had a talk with him. I saw him I prayed and I told him to walk you back into the light and bring you back. And I'm like, what? That, that was, that was the most craziest, I don't know how to even explain it. Crazy thing happened to me, other than the other things that have happened. Like I'm a stage 4 colon cancer survivor as well. So
jeez.
yeah, so I've been through the ringer. I've been through the ringer quite a bit.
That's a lot. That's,
Yeah,
that's a lot. Like how, all different types of tr trauma or challenges are hard no matter what, but health stuff is just extremely tough, mind and body sometimes obviously at the same time, like it's not,
exactly.
that's really hard. And life after death is like, I've been writing so much about it and talking to different people, and like the experience of that is just, it's life changing for people. Like they really do change the way that how they operate in the world when they come back from something like that. So I'm glad you came back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I really do believe that a lot of people like yourself and myself that are interested, like I said, in this very same subject, I
Yeah.
think we're all connected, and somehow, some way, we are of a star seed, and we are all like connected big time. And every time I tell someone this, like they're like, oh, what the heck, or they have similar stories to mine, and I'm like, there it is. I told you, we're all connected. The ones that come on the show and explain to me their stories, or I give them mine, they're like, oh wow, and I had this happen to me also. And then I'm like, I told you we're connected. I'm like, it's a connection that this is a calling. And then to me, what I took from all of this is I came back for a purpose. And obviously, I started this show 4 years ago, and I said I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna see where it goes, and hopefully something good comes out of it. And Lord and behold, I got you on the show too. So I'm like, I'm over here.
That's so sweet of you. I'm like, honestly, I'm like, well, and also like if you love it, it's your passion like that, I always tell people like keep doing what you're doing because someday it will pan out in many different ways. Consistency is just the thing that you need. Everyone needs the most is consistency, right? The more that you do it, the
Oh
better
yeah,
you do it. And then also like things just develop and you find your tribe, like your people follow. It's just
exactly,
all our startup.
exactly. Man, so I was so excited to actually tell you that story. I'm so glad I got to tell you that part of my life, you know, and that's really cool. And I have so many like alien stories as well, so many UFO stories. I do have what I do believe an implanted chip of some sort in my arm, my left arm, that
You
no doctors. Yeah, I've gone plenty of times to the doctor, and you know what they've told me? We don't know what it is. We can't tell you. I'm like, so then pull it out. They're like, we don't know what it is. They keep giving me the cold shoulder.
well, if they do an X-ray, I believe an X-ray would show that, right? Like you,
I've asked for an X-ray and they refused.
well, yeah, you can go buy one yourself. You can go
That's what
and
I think I'm gonna do.
yeah, I was like, you can go and buy one and see if, what comes back out of that. Like that's totally possible. I think you can buy ultrasounds, you can buy,
Yeah, so I
you know, that
that's
that
what I think I'm gonna do because
I
I
would,
keep getting
yes.
I keep getting like people giving me the cold shoulder, and I'm like, well, I just want to know what it is. What is it that I got implanted?
Well, I think that there are people like when I did my show, you know, a woman thought that she had an implant, but I think we found out later that she was actually an actor that came on to like try to, not that it was planted by the production company. She wasn't. It was just somebody that was trying to get on a TV show. But she came in with the crown of a tooth, and she said that it was an alien implant that she took out of herself. But it ended up being when we analyzed it, it was a crown of a tooth, and so I had to tell her that it was a crown of a tooth, not knowing if she was lying or not. But later we found out that she was really known to do this kind of stuff. So like there's lots of hoaxers, there's lots of people that are faking stuff all the time. So that's why the healthcare
Of
system
course.
is probably like we don't take it seriously all the time because we've got other people that are like really need need an x-ray or an ultrasound, which makes sense they would come first, but you can always pay for it yourself like
Of
that
course.
yeah, and then you at least have that information, in your hand along with seeing what it is. And then you can ask a doctor to extract it if something's there, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna do because I'm like, you know what? I don't obviously I don't have the courage to take it out myself, and I'm not gonna
I,
try. And
I,
I'm not, yeah.
I,
So I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's just a vein, and I just pulled it out, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, that's not good, you
I
know?
could give myself a needle. I probably
Yeah,
too, but I'm still like, I guess not my.
yeah. So I'm like, yeah, no, no, and I'm very squeamish when it comes to poking myself. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. But
Yeah.
definitely, what man? Let me see. I know I got another question for you here, Chrissy. What are your thoughts on cryptid creatures?
Oh, on cryptids, I don't really know about
Yeah.
cryptids. I think they're fascinating. Like I think, Micah Hanks is part of the debrief and he really focuses on Bigfoot a lot too. And so I've been in the Appalachian Mountains with him and other spaces in like the hills of Utah where Bigfoot potentially could be. And he's really given me, I think the one time we were in like backwoods up in the Uinta Basin and in the mountains, and it was just beautiful. And he was telling me a lot about Bigfoot and those stories. And I've never seen a cryptid. I've heard stories about people I know that have seen a cryptid. Um, and so I think that there might be some, they're obviously seeing something. Like, is it a mythical, magical like monkey? Like, I don't know that. I have no idea. Hope it is, to be honest. But no, I think that there might be could potentially be a lost species, right? That is unbelievably amazing at hiding. I think we talk about like what is it? Is it panthers? I believe in like northern Canada, and then they're saying that there's panthers in Ontario, but there's also panthers that could be in North Carolina too. And they're saying that those don't exist and they're extinct and they're not in these regions anymore. But people
Mhm.
have seen photos and images of these panthers that have been in Ontario. So that's a prime example of like a really good animal that has been able to hide and, like a massive black cat, right? Like how cool is that?
Mhm.
That's been able to hide and not be really caught by many people over the years and has really been considered a more of a myth. But I think now that they're proving that they more than likely are in these regions closer to us than we think. And if anyone else knows more about this, please tell me because it's not my area of expertise, just things that I that I've
No,
heard.
no. It's
But
it's actually it's actually it's actually quite interesting that you say that. But let me give you the cryptid version on my Hispanic roots on what
yeah,
cryptids what I grew up with knowing as cryptids. And actually I failed to take a video of a cryptid that I saw out right outside of my apartment building as I was walking my dog. And this was very much a big what I thought was a werewolf that turned into a man. So cryptids in our culture are pretty much human people that can turn into animals or that are from another dimension that come into our world. Whether it be Bigfoot, whether it be alien, whether it be insectoid, whether it be a praying mantis extraterrestrial, those are cryptids our in our culture. But it's crazy that you do bring that up because a lot of people do say that. Well, it's just a crazy mythical creature, which is also true, which is really also it kind of goes hand in hand.
well, like the Loch Ness monster, I find really interesting. Like Nessie,
That's
like
also
I always thought Nessie was an interesting story. Um, and or like giant snakes that people see that are within oceans, which would make sense, like prehistoric snakes. Like, and I think
yes,
they found things that are generally like a prehistoric. I know we probably have spoken about this or written about it at the debrief because we talk a lot about archaeology. And so when we find those like crossovers where like cryptid meets science or like archaeology, and that we can prove that something is ancient and like prehistoric and massive, then yeah, we'll report about that for sure because it's so fascinating, right? And those intersections between the two are so cool. So same thing with UFOs, right? So
yeah,
a lot of I know that some people want to write books around like Bigfoot and government. Like we've done the same thing with UFOs and government. So, cryptids will have its time at some point. We'll see as
yeah.
the
Eh,
information grows more.
Everything's revealing itself so fast, right? Everything's like coming and
Oh yeah.
unraveling so fast that now the next thing on our list would be the cryptids and the gnomes and the fairies and a bunch of things that come with it,
And I
because there's a
that would be my I would make a friend with one. It's funny, like a tiny little mushroom, like looks like a magic mushroom, like the Alice in Wonderland in my backyard. And I've been trying to find like the
yeah.
perfect size gnome to put him under there in my backyard. So I like think they're the cutest little things. But we don't, when that comes to that, I don't follow the cryptid as much, but when that starts to come to like more people and more conversations, I'm not going to jump into it because I won't bandwagon, but I'll be for sure listening. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, no, of course. Understandable with that. I mean, I have mixed emotions with that as well. And I do have conversations with people and they're like, oh, you know nothing about cryptids. If I talk to an older relative of mine, they're like, oh, you don't even know. Let me tell you the tales that I've seen. And I'm like, man, where were the cameras then?
Yeah. That's cool though.
Um,
Like I love those stories from, especially when it comes like different countries because we hear so much from North America. When I hear another story, UAP or something like that, I'm always curious because cultural influence is like such a big aspect of it. Like it's massive. Like North America is like one of the only, generally kind of cultures that don't really have a lot of this folklore embedded in it consistently in the mainstream when a lot of other cultures do.
have you ever heard of the zone of silence in Durango, Mexico?
No.
Oh man. Um,
Where's
I'm
what
gonna
part?
I'm gonna it's called the zone of silence. In Spanish it translates to the zona del silencio, and
Yeah.
this is out in Durango, Mexico. And what happens here is a lot of the people there that live around that area report that it's a major gateway portal, so to say, for cryptids, UFOs, extraterrestrial. There's a doorway there that they show up there, and there's also been planes. It's pretty much the Bermuda Triangle of Mexico.
Oh shit. Where is that? The city you
It's
said?
in Durango, Mexico.
Where is that though? Like what's it close to? That's
It's in northern Mexico.
northern Mexico. So I was curious
Yes,
to make my
yeah,
way.
it's
Yeah.
yes, it's down in northern Mexico, so it's really known for uh your car to stop working. Once you enter the zone, your car goes dead. So I wouldn't advise anybody to take your car into that. your compasses, your electronics, your phone. If for God's sake, if you're diabetic, people don't go into the zone. Your insulin pumps will stop working, and you're gonna have a shit show. So I'm like, it's not good.
Idea.
So this is even a plane, a pilot a long time ago, landed there. Thankfully, didn't crash, but was able to land his plane in the middle of the zone of the silence, and his plane went dead. Like this is a zone, a very hot spot for a lot of UFO, paranormal, a lot of people in this type of topic that go there to visit it. While I was in Durango, Mexico, when I was a kid, I really wanted to visit that, but my mom was always, no, don't go there because it's a bad place. You're gonna get sucked into a wormhole, or you're just gonna up and vanish. She really strongly believed that it's a place that you can time travel or visit other dimensions as well.
Wild. Well, and that's like,
Yeah.
I would love, there's so many places in the world that I want to see. Like I've gone circle chasing. I've been in crop circles in London, England, in the UK. I've been in
Oh,
about
nice.
four of them, I believe, when I was circle chasing, like years ago down there with a crop circle researcher named Gary King. Shout outs to Gary. Uh, Lovely man. And he took me throughout so many different crop circles, and like, I just had a different look at them. Like I literally was watching looked at the basket weaving. It was so intricate, and it still, if it's done by humans, then it is some of the most amazing art in the entire world, aerial art that
Mhm.
we're doing, and like that needs to be coveted as a technique and awarded for like the amount of art that they're creating, because it's beautiful if that's the case. And if not, and it is anomalous and it's connected to UAP, then we probably should start paying attention. I don't know, when I left I was just like bewildered because
Mhm.
there was so much of the sacred geometry that was embedded into it, the basket weaving, the precision of it. It was just, they were beautiful. And if
Yeah.
somebody's thinking that overnight, and not getting caught, then oh, I should say this though too. I watched a skeptic that says that he makes them with Gary King, talk about it in a crop circle together and show up. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting moment. Yeah, because it was like a skeptic and a unit and a researcher, and they were generally like pretty kosher with each other. But it was interesting to see that they both showed up in the same space and time, and I got to watch them kind of debate the circle. So that was
Oh, nice.
he said he didn't make the guy that says he makes them, that he didn't make this one. So, and I think
Oh.
there are groups of people that do make them, but I don't know if they're as intricate as the ones that we've seen that are extremely intricate. Someone's saying here, I can't see the bottom. I saw a
Let me
Reddit.
go back. It says, what do you guys know about the crash in Borrego Springs 2 weeks ago?
No, I don't know anything about that. Yeah.
That one I didn't hear. What I am hearing about that is it was, I believe, a military drone that crashed. I'm not too sure. I could be touching on the wrong subject, but let me know if I am or not. He said he saw it on Reddit, seeing a black semis and a military personnel arriving on the site. Stoked to see Chris and Chrissy talking. Thank you guys. Thank you
HI.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
so let us know, guys. Man, I wish we had a lot more time, man. I hate how Instagram only gives me an hour to do these
Oh, it's
interviews with
an
guests.
hour to do a live. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
it only gives it.
I was like, I
Okay,
go to
well,
the gym at
pretty, pretty,
5:15.
pretty much, the more famous you are, the more time you get. If you're like just up and coming and you're like whatever, they give you 1 hour.
That's stupid. And like
Yeah,
they should. Oh, I guess
yeah,
people live stream all the time, don't they? Doesn't Tom
yeah.
Green live stream like his life?
Yeah. So like I said, if you have a lot of follow base, like I'm talking about in the millions, then your time gets extended. So
Oh,
and on TikTok as well, the same thing. Since I'm new on there too, you only get an hour versus people that been streaming, you get an unlimited time. And I'm like, okay, well, what if I buy the little blue check mark? Hopefully that will change something. No, I talked to somebody on Instagram. They said, unfortunately for now, you only get an hour. And I was like, oh, okay, sorry.
who earns? That's stupid.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so like. That's not fair. It's like so blue check, not blue check elitist, but like follower elitist. Like you have to have, like that's not cool. Should be
You know,
allowed, everyone should be allowed to live stream as much as they want. Yeah.
exactly. And the suck part is if you don't have this blue check either, they don't push your 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 pretty much your stuff or your page or anything you post. They don't really push it. It gets stuck in the algorithm, and you're pretty much like getting your basic just 1, 2 viewers, and that's pretty much it. And you're like, well, what the heck? What the hell's going on? Why am I not getting the time?
I'm hoping that we switch to a new, like, not that I love Instagram because obviously I'm on here a lot and I share a lot of my content too. But I'm waiting for the day that we get a new type of Instagram that's a little bit more open and not owned by Meta. Like we need a change. We need a change.
Yes,
YouTube,
big time.
you can stream on YouTube as long as you want, and I know
You
what they're
you can't.
yeah. Think about it.
You know what? You can on there. You can on there, and I tried it, but again, since I just started and I don't have as many like subscribers, they do not allow me to live stream yet.
Oh my
I'm
God.
still stuck. Yeah, yeah. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Ridiculous. Well,
Yeah. So like I said, if you have your follow base, that's why I was like, oh my god, like a lot of people that I have invited on the show that have a follow base are like, yeah, well, if you have $2 million in your pocket, I would sure gladly come on the show. And I'm like, what? 2 million? I'm like, dang.
yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
just being a
I'm like
dick.
that's I'm like that's a little. I'm like that's a little steep, man. I'm like I got maybe a couple dollars in my pocket to give you, but not that much. 2 million. Damn,
They're
that's
not
crazy.
on the
But
show, if that's the case.
yeah,
I'd be
I'm
like,
like
no.
I'm doing it for both of our exposures, to get people interested in something that's taboo to the world, that
It is.
that's such a picky subject for many, and still the people that don't believe, which sucks. I don't know what else it's gonna take for people to start waking up and seeing, hey, there is other life forms out there, and we're not the only people on this planet.
No, we're not. And that's gonna change. And we're gonna see that. I think we'll see that shift. And again, like I was saying, we will probably see it in our lifetime, more than likely. And that's going to be exciting. And then we can walk away, and we all can be like, you know what? Like Chad's the same way. He's on here too. We can walk away and say like, hey, we contributed as much as we possibly could. Trying to get the right information, trying to do the right things, and contribute to those moments in history that the next generations will be able to, have a say and be able to make their own decisions and look at different science and learn more and travel the cosmos and do all those things. But it took all of us, I always say this, but we're going to look back in history and there's going to be all these podcasters talking about YouTube, or sorry, talking about UFOs and Instagrammers and all this stuff, because that's what brought it to light, and maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle, and we'll hopefully find it soon. I saw Laura's in here.
Definitely.
What is she saying? I can't read the bottom here because
It's
my
intelligent, and intelligence is intelligence, and we're all interconnected. I do agree with that. I always tell everybody we are all connected. Not just the ones that have seen or experienced or are experiencers. We're all star children. We all come from some uh, alien hybrid. I do believe that we were all a byproduct of the Anunnakis. So I really do believe that we are all interconnected.
Well, I don't know. So it's funny. I follow a lot of that stuff. I think it's interesting in the folklore. Like I love Mesopotamian folklore. Like
Hmm.
don't get me wrong. Like I love it. Do I know if I believe it deep down? I don't know yet. But what I do know is we are all stardust. Like that is for sure. And do we and I think whatever is out in the cosmos is part of us. We are interconnected that way. I just hope, if they're here walking among us, or there's other, could be it all could be possible. It could be you're walking among us. They're also out there as well that we haven't got contact. They don't even know that we exist yet, and find out that we do. And that would be unbelievable. So I'm hoping that that actually does happen at some point, outside of potentially walking among us and whatever, UAP means here on Earth, that we do find evidence of life somewhere else that's intelligent like us to some degree, because that would be wonderful. I recently watched Project Hail Mary, and have you watched it yet?
No, I have not. I heard really good things about that.
Oh my, you need to go watch this tonight.
Oh,
This,
perfect. I'll watch it right now.
I cried like 10 times and was like, if I would have, that's how we should meet. That's, I don't want to spoil it for you, but
Oh.
that's should meet out of space. That's it.
Yeah,
If you watch Project Hail Mary, then everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm like, long live Rocky.
perfect. Beautiful. I want to thank you, Chrissy, so much for coming on. I'm literally, I was so nervous. I am
Oh,
starstruck to the core,
oh,
big time. I really am. I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out the whole time. You don't know, I literally had to like do a lot of breathing exercises before like coming on the show.
that was
I
saying,
was like, my God.
I,
If for those that don't know, Chrissy, she literally is the star of rebelliously curious podcast, and was on the Discovery Channel as well with Alien Encounters. So as you can tell, that's why I'm starstruck, and I still got goosebumps, guys. I swear to
um,
God.
we'll hang out and have a drink at a UFO conference. Don't worry about that.
Oh, I am so in for that, Chrissy. Thank you so much for taking the time of your busy schedule to be here. You have been such an honor and a great pleasure to have you on here.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you having me too. And thank you to friends and everyone who showed up as well. So,
Thank you guys so much. I am Chris Hernandez, your host of Alien OG Podcast, and this was Chrissy Newton. Thank you so much, Chrissy. You have a blessed and wonderful day.
you too. Bye.
You'll stay in contact. Thank you.
100%.